If you want, you can use hot. This is sweet, or oops, I thought it was sweet, it's hot. So we're gonna have a little kick here, that's fine. Hey everyone, it's Amanda, and I am making a buttermilk basil ranch dressing, which is by Tara O'Brady. And it's sort of a classic ranch in that it has mayonnaise and it's got sour cream and some herbs, but she has her own twists on it with basil, and actually she offers yogurt as an alternative. And I wanted to make it because I feel like it's gonna be just a great thing to have around for the summer, for vegetables, for kind of dipping vegetables in, for dressing salads, for, you know, maybe putting on top of some fried chicken. You make it in a jar, which I love because it makes it nice and easy. The recipe calls for a shallot, and I don't know if you can see this, but my shallot is very spongy. So I'm gonna use a little onion. This onion is also a little aged, so I have some concerns about what's gonna be beneath the skin here, but we'll find out, and hopefully we can clean it up and make use of it. I only need 2 tablespoons minced, so I'm gonna try to mince this as nicely as I can. And this makes, how much does this make? Makes 2 cups. Ooh, that's gonna be like just cut it, that jar. I think that looks like 2 tablespoons. We're gonna get out our measuring spoon, dump that in there. I'm gonna round it up a little bit. I'm gonna put a little salt in now. Give that a little shake, and that'll kind of chill out the onions a bit. So you could toss this and put it into your compost, but it's also a great thing to save and then like put into a broth or any kind of sauce. While I'm doing oniony things, I'm gonna smash my garlic, and I think I'm just gonna shred it, this one, so that the juices get really nice and flowy in the dressing. And I like that she calls for just 1 small garlic clove, because you don't want a really like garlicky, stinky ranch. You want it to have lots of fragrance, and you don't want it to overwhelm the herbs, which are really nice. So because you're using chive and parsley and basil. And if you want to use other herbs that you've got around, you go for it. You've got my permission. Okay, so you're just slicing, chopping. She says chop chives. This is kind of slicing them, I guess. I think that looks about right. Yeah. And actually the ends of these are not lovely, so I'm gonna stick those in there. You know, that's 2 tablespoons, but I am not gonna I'm not gonna let these go to waste. So we're gonna have maybe a little extra chivy buttermilk dressing, but there's nothing wrong with that. This is obviously a you can wing it recipe. My favorite kind, of course. This is probably gonna be more than 2 tablespoons too. So, okay, I guess I was a little overzealous with my herb measuring. I might not add all of this, because otherwise it's gonna become like all about basil and not about much else. Okay, last herb is parsley. Now you're probably wondering, why did I not just chop these all at once? Generally, you don't want to be chopping herbs all together because they all have different textures. And if you have a delicate herb mixed in with a hardier herb like this, and you chop them together, the delicate herb just gets basically smashed up and bruised, and the hardier one doesn't really get properly chopped. So it's best to do them separately. And yes, I know that's a little tedious, but your finished dish will thank you. Do a nice generous tablespoon of that. Okay, I'm hoping our jar is actually gonna fit our dressing. We don't know yet. Okay, so now we are going to be adding the sort of dressing elements. It calls for 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or white wine vinegar. I love these little guys. They're by Herbiest, and they're nesting borosilicate prep bowls and measuring bowls. And they're super light. They're also stylish. This is the moment for this guy, which is, you know, good for jars. It's a spatula that's meant for getting into the thin or the narrow corners of a jar. So we're doing a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Okay, so we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of sour cream or yogurt. I happen to have sour cream, so that's what we're using. So, all right, so there we've got the main components. We've got shallot/onion, herbs, garlic, vinegar, or in our case, lemon juice, mayonnaise, and sour cream. Then I'm gonna screw on the lid, shake it to combine, and then I'm gonna stir in the buttermilk. Ooh, look at that. That's fun. Very herby looking. All right, you wanna get the best buttermilk you can. Whoops, don't do that. So stir in most of the buttermilk. Got that, that's most. Maybe I'll just hold off and see if there's a reason that we don't add all of it. And I'm just gonna use my spatula. Ooh, that is nice. Look at that. It's actually quite loose. You see that? Okay, here we go. All right, some salt, pepper. I gotta aim carefully here. Calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. If you want, you can use hot. This is sweet, or oops, I thought it was sweet, it's hot. So we're gonna have a little kick here, that's fine. And then a drop of honey, just to kind of even out the acidity. Okay, you can add more as needed or to taste. She says to take it out of the fridge an hour before using to allow the flavors to blend and develop. That's Tara's tip, I like that. Also, because this dressing, you taste more of it if it's actually room temperature. Time to taste. I'm gonna use my spatula. Okay. That is so good. Don't forget the honey. I think it adds something. I definitely season it generously like I did. I'm not gonna season it anymore. Wow, the smoked paprika is awesome. And it kind of adds this like depth into it, and then you have these nice like zingy freshness of the herbs. This is definitely gonna be my buttermilk ranch dressing for the summer. And I'm just gonna do it on repeat and keep it in the fridge. And I hope you will too. I'll see you next week or 2 weeks from now. Bye.